Hi dads, Craig Wilkinson again here to answer your burning dad questions. Us as men struggle to ask directions, and often we come into this fatherhood thing and just wing it. And it's just so wonderful to be able to, as a bunch of brothers, as a bunch of dads who've been there, done that, or are busy doing it, be able to chat to each other about the things that are on our hearts and the things that really trouble us. Here's a question from a dad who says, I'm a father of 3. Overall, things have been going well. However, over the past couple of months, our boy, age 6, has been acting like a certified pest a lot of the time. Starting fights with his sisters, being more reactive than usual, constantly messy room, all of a sudden forgetful with getting things ready for school, misplacing library books, etc. He's usually our most reliable performer, but lately not so much. Do boys go through some sort of patch around 6 years? Some days I'm terrified we're going to go down the ADHD path with him, but I have to remind ourselves that most of what we're seeing is recent and acute. It's a great question. Boys behaving badly. In this case, it's a boy that suddenly started behaving badly. And the question here is, do boys have this? Do they at some age switch and start behaving badly? A couple of things to really look at here. One is with both boys and girls, as a father, crucial to truly know their world. Get into their world, understand where they're coming from. Oftentimes something happens at school, even though age 6 is probably a bit early for school, it might be preschool. Something happens, there's a bully, or an incident happens, or someone's treated him badly. What may even happen at home with a bunch of siblings. And that incident, or those recurring incidents, make the child feel very insecure and they're not quite sure how to articulate them. So the more as a father you get into the world, into the life, into the day-to-day experiences of your child, the more you'll be able to understand when something changes, what's going on. We see these crazy incidences in the US where suddenly there's a school shooting. And very often that kid was probably displaying symptoms for a very long time. And as a parent, we need to really understand and see and just check the tone of our kid all the time. And if there's a change, really begin to delve deeply into it. There may be a medical reason in this case. There may be a medical reason why there's a sudden change in behavior. And so if you've explored everything else and nothing comes to mind or nothing comes to light, explore the medical option. Go and see a doc and explain that to the doctor. And he or she may well be able to find something and do some tests. But really get to know your kid. Be in their shoes. As the kid gets slightly older, you need to be aware of the websites that are cruising. You need to be aware of the peers that are involved in their lives, their experience with teachers and at school. So get involved in their lives. Young boys too, and especially around that 5, 6, 7 and a little bit older, and this is the second point, need and crave rough and tumble play. And often they're crying out for that. A lot of the system that we have in the world is not really designed for boys, particularly as they start school. It's not really a boy-friendly type environment, sitting for hours on end at a hard desk and a hard chair, having to concentrate, where boys want to be fidgety and robust and play, and also in a situation where there are not too many male teachers. So the system's not really designed for boys, and as a father to boys, engage your son in rough and tumble play. Also engage with your son in just time hanging out. A lot of the time, frustrated kids display their frustration in bad behavior and poor behavior. And sometimes frustrated kids or kids really who want more time with their parents can play up sometimes. They can start misbehaving because the only way to get your attention is to misbehave. And they'd rather have negative attention than zero attention. So carve out time just to truly hang out and be present and spend time rough and tumbling. The more you rough and tumble with a boy, the more they're able to express that energy. The research shows so clearly that if you look at the difference in young boys and young girls that are engaged in free play, young boys engage up to 10 times more than young girls in sport and robust type activities and games. And as a father, if you're able to do that, it's a fantastic thing to do for your boy. And it often would alleviate some of the frustration that they might be feeling. Often crying and bad behavior is a sign of frustration. It's a sign of a pent-up emotion. Some kind of emotion that they're feeling inside, but they really don't have the emotional literacy. They don't understand their own feelings and they aren't able to express their feelings. Young girls are far more emotionally literate at a younger age. They tend to be more in touch with their emotions and they tend to be able to express themselves better. So as a father, try and help your child really get to grips with what they're feeling. Sit and ask them, hey, my boy, what's happening? What's going on? And try and coax it out of them, how they're feeling. Remember, they don't have the words yet to express these emotional things. So help them to truly understand what their emotions are and develop the vocabulary to be able to share with you what those emotions are. When we went through a divorce, and after the divorce, my son Luke was starting to display some pretty surly behavior. And I realized after all, he was 10, 11 at the time, that he was experiencing all these bottled up emotions and he just didn't know how to express them. And the more I was able to sit with him and explain to him and help him to kind of really just get to grips with how he was feeling and then express that and then say, hey, look, those feelings are okay, validate them. The more he was able to begin to express them and deal with them, and they weren't bottled up. So as fathers, really help your child to understand and express their emotion. Now I know that this may not hit the issue as you've described, but it's a really important thing to do. Know their world, help them to express their feelings, spend time hanging out with them, and engage in rough and tumble play. It's absolutely crucial. So I hope this helps a little bit for those of you, particularly with the young boys that are experiencing frustration and bad behavior with your boy. See you next time.